Hey, what's up? Justin here, and welcome to 65 Drums. So, in the world of electronic drum modules, not many companies actually focus on drum apps. Like Roland, they kind of sort of made a few apps back in the day, like in 2012 or something, but they sort of gave up. Also, Alesis, they once made a drum module that was basically an iPad with an app on it, but they kind of stopped focusing on their apps. Meanwhile, Yamaha and Simmons are the only other ones that actually kind of focus on this. Yamaha has two apps I want to go over today and just do a review slash walkthrough of them. The first is the 502 Touch app that lets you control this drum module with your phone instead of trying to find your way around this tiny little screen right here, the size of my finger. And then the next one is called Rec and Share. You actually have to type Rec and Share into the App Store because there's a lot of other apps called Record and Share. You have to type it in exactly correct or else it's really hard to find. Anyway, these two apps are actually pretty darn cool, so we're going to do a quick walkthrough. To my knowledge, they haven't made an Android version of any of their apps. The second thing you need to know is that it actually costs you 30 or 40 bucks in order to get this working. This is the iPhone camera adapter. So it's a USB connection on this end right here, and then it's Lightning on this end. I couldn't find this in a Staples store. I couldn't find this in a Verizon store. So I ended up having to drive like a half an hour away to my nearest Best Buy in order to track one of these down because the camera adapter isn't like stocked by most stores apparently. But anyway, if you're willing to spend the 40 bucks in order to buy one of these, if you have an iPhone and if you have one of these Yamaha drum modules, this is actually a pretty darn cool app if you're willing to spend the money on the adapter. All you gotta do is get a USB cable like the one in the back of your printer, and then plug it into the adapter, and then plug the adapter into your phone. You don't have to turn off the drum module and do any sort of weird stuff to get this working. It's recognized by the drum module pretty darn quickly. Now the really cool thing about the app is that it works both ways with the drum module. So if I scroll around on the app, that will be reflected in the drum module. I'll actually see the kit change on the module as I change it in the app. And then it goes the opposite way too. So if I want to scroll around on the drum module, that will directly affect the app too. So I think that's pretty cool. When you open up the app, you'll see this home screen right here as you can scroll around different kits. To me, this app looks kind of dated, and you can actually make it look way better if you click over here in the bottom right hand corner. You can actually set it to dark mode, and I think that looks way nicer. I should probably also mention you can scroll up and down with the list view too. Anyway, if you go over here to menu, and then you go over to mixer, you actually have faders for all of your drums, which is really, really nice because the module itself doesn't have any physical faders. And of course, you can adjust all the trigger settings within the app as well. It's way easier to adjust the gain, the minimum level, rejection time, noise filter. It's way easier to do that on an iPhone or an iPad versus on this screen on the DTX502. And we can also do other things. Like if we go over to the main screen again, and we press edit, you can actually select whatever drum you want, or of course you can just hit it. And then that selects it, and now you can adjust things like the pitch. So if I hit my snare, I can actually tune it all the way down, tune it all the way up, and then back to normal. I can adjust the muffling up and down. I can adjust the volume from here, and the panning left and right. And yeah, so that's really useful. And if we go over here to detail and then kit voice, this is where you can actually layer sounds within the app, which is pretty powerful. So the layer A obviously is this like whatever regular snare sound, Maple Custom. Then over on layer B, you can just press this little assign button, and then you can select whatever tom, cymbal, electronic sound that you want, and that will be the second layer. And there's actually 3 different ways you can layer the sounds. You can stack them, you can fade between them, and then there's the velocity switch mode. Now the really cool thing about this menu is that they were pretty smart. They realized that you're going to have to do some tuning, maybe some decay, you're going to have to do some frequency stuff in order to get these 2 layers to mesh well together and sound like one sound. So instead of making you go back through all the menus to the sound options, they actually sort of just give you a duplicate menu right here. So you can actually save your custom kits to Dropbox. That way, whenever you take your phone to another DTX502 drum set, you can actually take over all your sounds and all your settings. And this is really good for the people that are demoing drum sets, the people that fly from Cleveland to Houston to Los Angeles. They can just not bring their drum set with them, and they can just have all their settings instantly because it's stored on Dropbox, and they can just import that right away. So it's one of those features where it's really, really useful for like the 1% of people that need it and kind of worthless to everyone else. You're probably wondering what kind of apps they've made for their different drum modules. They've made one for their DTX400 line, their DTX402 line, their 502 line, and then their 700 line. Okay, so that's app number 1. And now I'm going to switch over to the EAD10 drum module so I can show you the record and share app. And by the way, if you're wondering what different drum pads I have right here are actually working well with a 502 drum module, I'm actually going to make a separate video where I basically demo different kinds of rubber pads, cymbals, and mesh pads I have lying around the house, and seeing which, non-Yamaha pads are actually working. Watch out for that, it's going to be coming out pretty soon. But anyway, I'm going to switch out this module with the EAD10 so I can show you the record and share app. As you can see, I've already downloaded a song. This is from my Dropbox account, and that's probably the best way in order to use this app. You're going to press the plus icon right here, local songs, and then copy from Dropbox. Dropbox is going to make you approve this app to be able to see what's inside of your account. But after you do that, any sort of MP3 file you have in that account or any sort of WAV file, it can be accessed through the app. So the song that you import into the app actually gets analyzed right away, and they automatically put a click track on it. That might not seem very helpful on the surface, but it really is, especially with weird hard songs that have pauses where nothing happens and you sort of lose track of what you're playing. And you can also do a click count in. So we'll go beep, 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 and then it will jump into the song. But anyway, you can actually do other things such as practice certain sections of the song. So if maybe there's a middle part of this that's really hard, I can press that button and then drag to a little section, and now that will loop over and over again until I nail that fill. And you can also slow down the tempo by pressing the plus or minus button over here. And it'll tell you exactly how many BPM you're speeding up or slowing it down to. This is really useful also because I don't think it's actually changing the pitch of the song. It's trying to do some things to manipulate the sound to be the perfect pitch and also however fast or slow that you want it to be. And then underneath that, you can control the volume of the music and the click track. And if we go to recorded songs, after you're done recording, you can click on this and you can edit the volume of the drums and the music separately later on, which is really, really useful. So the main menu that you see right here is actually called practice mode. If you actually want to start recording after you've mastered the song, just press start recording and then press this red button right here. And please, for the love of everything, put your phone in landscape mode. It looks way nicer. And then you can share it to Facebook, Instagram, or rip it off of your phone, put it on your laptop, and go from there. So obviously this isn't as good as a studio solution, but this is actually pretty darn useful. Now, going back to the heart of this whole question, is it worth the 40 to 50 bucks it takes to buy the USB cable and then buy the dongle adapter for your iPhone? That's really up to you. If I had like a Yamaha DTX502, I'm not sure if I would spend the 30 or 40 bucks. I have a channel, so that's why I went out and bought it. It does make life a little bit easier, so it probably is worth the extra money. And if you happen to already have that adapter lying around, then it's really a no-brainer. Download the app because it is pretty darn useful. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't pressed the subscribe button, be sure to press that, and also the bell icon so you don't miss any of my new videos. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you in a few.